Hey, what's up, friends? Here, this is another one with Fun with Azure. Synapse Studio Part 10 today, and let me have a look here what we're gonna do today. So primarily, we're gonna look at Power BI integration here this time. Let me make sure I'm actually recording. I do, very good. So we're looking at Power BI integration into Synapse Studio, and this is definitely an interesting capability here. Let me head over to the Synapse Studio and launch that real quick. This is definitely an interesting and needed capability, since this basically allows us then to not just ingest the data that we're looking at. We also have the opportunity then to visualize this, right? This is, I'm gonna show a very simple example here, and you see I tested around with this already. Power BI Workspace 1, 2, 3, and 4. I also need Power BI open, right? So this is my Power BI tenant over here. And the first thing that I'm gonna need to actually generate one of those linked services, this is sort of a prerequisite, is a workspace. And to do this, I'm going here and create a workspace, and let me use today's date as a workspace name, which is probably not what you would do in your environment, but just as an example on how the steps are going here. So I copy the name and then I definitely save it. So now I have basically a container, a workspace within my Power BI for that sample today. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go new, and then he has a linked service. There's these connectors, right? So when you start filtering them down for Power BI, I see Power BI popping up, and then I have all my kind of information here, and let's go with 5. That's okay. And then let me put in what I just created over there. And this is a prerequisite, right? If you don't have a workspace generated, nothing will show up here, right? So you have to have this generated to be able to do what I just did. There's some advanced properties as well if you'd like to fill them out. Annotations, I'm not going to need any. So for now, I'm just going to hit this create button. And then obviously we have a new linked service for Power BI, and remember this is version 5. And let me publish this here, which reminds me that at some point we need to look into the Git integration, which is probably the next one that I'm doing. I'm focusing right now a bit more on integration, because at the end of the day, Synapse is a hub and it's part of an infrastructure solution most of the time. So it needs to be able to communicate with the outside world, and Power BI sort of represents that. Okay, so now that we have the linked service and remember we were in managed when I did this, right? So now I go back to the develop hub, and now as I started to add items here, I typically see these workspaces popping up here, right? So let me see here. So let me see what my options are. And sometimes you have to refresh this, because I'm honestly surprised that this new one doesn't show up yet. So let's refresh the page. Maybe it takes a minute, or maybe there's some step that I still need to do. Let me check it out. So we're in develop, and you see after I refreshed, the node shows up, right? So that's kind of an easy thing you could slip up on. Just keep that in mind, right? So now it's getting interesting. Now we have select the source, download the PPIX file, and open and publish with Power BI Desktop. Okay. So let's check this out a bit, and let's understand what this all means, right? So now we have new Power BI dataset, and then we're gonna be presented with another selection here, and let's explore what we have for serverless. So here you see a bunch of databases, and you see that the signs are different, right? So we have sometimes here the two, and then we have the single one. So in a nutshell, what this is here, this is a collection of my serverless and dedicated pool databases. This is a dedicated pool database, and this is a serverless database. So to kind of prove it to you, there's a serverless for Power BI 101 database here. So if I go out of this and close, let me close, and I go over to I think data. Let me see, yeah, data. And then here on the lake databases, I see the lake databases, and on the SQL database, I see the dedicated pool database here, and I see the serverless databases here, right? So this list here is pretty much the same as over there. And now let's have a look what's in here for serverless. If there is something in here already, so we have an external table. Okay, this is good. So this is something that I can actually have a look at. You remember this? We looked at this in earlier videos. So if I run this, so dedicated pool, no, sorry, this is serverless built-in, right? Here's the database name. That's all correctly configured. So let's run this. And this is gonna return, hopefully, I think a very simple data set, and it does. So it has the header double, right? There's sort of the header of the table, and then let me see if we can where ID. Okay, that's an interesting one here. Unequals ID, and that would need to be something around those lines. That should give us only the actual number. Okay. So this is interesting. So we have that. Now, let's see if we can generate a few on top of that. External. So do we have a few in here already? We only have system views so far. Okay, so let's go back and say create view PBI test, and then say as, and let's remove the dash here, and let's see if that works. We're in the right database, right? This is always important. If we're not in the right database, then this is not going to show up. So right click over here to views and then refresh, and then I can see the view here. And if I create a view now, obviously I'm just gonna get the data back without the header. Okay, so this is good. So let's see if we can use that view as a source for Power BI. So we have Power BI open. Let's go back here. Let's open up a new Synapse Studio tab, because we may need to go back to this a couple of times. And this was just some sort of test file that I brought in. I think I covered this even in earlier videos, but now what I'm going to do, go back to develop, go back to the Power BI, go back to our Power BI 5, and then I think I need to go here to open. Let me see here what we have. Okay, this is refresh, so we can't do anything there. So I think it's here that I need to have open. Okay, and then new Power BI dataset. And then obviously we're going to choose that database here, because remember, this is the one, and I need to download this file. Okay, so let's download this file. Now to have this all working, and see the naming here, right? So to have this all working, you gotta have Power BI Desktop installed on your local machine. right? So because I'm downloading this now to my local machine, and this is gonna open anytime soon. And basically, behind the scenes, it already connected to that serverless database, right? So let me go to the okay, it brings it up automatically. It just takes a bit of time. You can see here, this is the PPI test that we just generated. This is my data. This is the view. I like that the symbols are different, and here we can actually see the very simple data set. So let me hit that load button in Power BI. Let's do an import for now, and I think there's another setting that we need to do on the trust setting, sensitivity setting. It's over here. Let's see. I think this pops up soon, then we can modify this. But now we're looking at loading the data. Here's a bit of a wait. Brings in the 3 records. They're loaded. All dandy. Okay. So now we're seeing the usual thing here, right? City ID revenue. And so if I do the city and the revenue, I should see a data grid. It's probably very small, but I should still, hold on, let me, oh, it's showing the map now, okay. But if I add the revenue, it may make circles in different sizes, but as of this point, I'm just, I just want to basically get the basic capabilities to work. Let me see if I can quickly find where's the column headers, grids, values. I think here though. Let me see if I can increase the font size to like 36. Yeah, that worked. And you can see the data is showing up here, which is good. Okay. And let me okay, you can also go in here and basically copy this. Let's see if that works. Okay, now we should have, do we have 2 now? Can I move this? Yeah, we do have 2. I copied. I want to see if I can do a pie chart, but remember, it didn't recognize the revenue as a number. So that's why the pie chart isn't working. I would actually need to change this from a data types perspective. That's why it's not showing anything here. So let's forget about this. This is just really a sort of a simple test on how this works. We obviously need to optimize the data types to make this fully functional, but that's a minor implementation detail that we can definitely cover for going forward. But so this is good now. So now I think the step how this works is I need to I think first I need to save it, and let me see what happens if I publish. Okay, so let's say we build our report and now I'm going to publish to Power BI, and obviously it tells me, hey, you got to save it before you can do anything, and before you save it you need to select the sensitivity level, right? So let me do that. Go over here, say non-business. Okay, try again. Say basically publishing, not saving. Publish, and now it prompts me again for save. We save, of course, and for now I'm just gonna put it on the local file 345 PBI test 345. Okay, and now it publishes it to the workspace in Power BI, right? So let me go over here. This is our workspace. Let me copy that. See, it's always important that we have these values available, because if you not write them down, it's easy to forget them. So now we have that. So it publishes out, and as it publishes out, it's actually available now also in it says success, which is good. Okay, got it. And obviously we could go here into the service and look at it there. But let's go back to Synapse Studio. Okay, I think we can actually close out of this now. Okay, let me see. Close and refresh. So this now lists a name, which is good. And now this down here should be refreshed. Now, you know, a usual thing again, you need to go to the three dots and hit that refresh button. And then let's see if, yeah, see, here's a report showing up. And this is basically what we just built. Now, if we had a visual here, we would obviously see a visual. But now we can interact with it here. We can further develop here. We can even save it here and you know, modify it here and save it back. So I did this on another sample. But I basically just wanted to go through the steps to go through this and set it all up. So now that we have that, we can possibly build a bit more you know, advanced visuals and can work with this more. But yeah, just to get the basics started with Power BI integration and Synapse. Hope that was helpful, guys, and see you guys soon again. Cheers. Have a good one.